So I wanted to show you what it's typically like here in the ham shack. Usually if you have a cat's gonna want to be there with you. But yeah, different. Here, we put this rig on here again. But I wanted to show you guys, like you've seen the hardware, you don't know what it's all about. So yeah, so here's some of my gear. So here's the guy on 40 meters, 7 megahertz, and they're talking about balance and ways to match antennas. Right here. I had to clean off my ham shack here. This desk is a pit. I just moved stuff from shufflers from one place to another. But anyway, turn it down a little bit. So I'm listening to these guys chatting. I'm waiting for net to start here on the 2 meter repeater, 146.64 in Raleigh. Over here's the 7610 radio. I was chatting with somebody over on 15 meters here. He was in Texas, an old guy. He's in an assisted living now. But he set up a station, and I was looking at his photos from his old station. He had a whole antenna farm and everything. I mean, real big station, but now he downsized. But he's still got something he can at least get out. So it's nice that he has that. So this is the speaker. Here's my my watt meter. I like this watt meter because if something's wrong, my antenna has a loose connection or whatever, SWR, standing wave is bad. Because you have to have a tuned antenna, right? If something's out of whack, it'll alert me. It throws an alert out. And anyway, so these rigs run off 12 volts, so I have power supplies here. 12 volt power supplies running. I run digital signal processors. I get 2 of them here. I'm only using one though. This is my mixer board. I don't really use it, but I can. And got the Heil microphone that I can use if I want. What's nice about these is I have a little foot pedal, and to transmit the radio, I just hit the foot pedal. But usually what I do if I'm contesting and I'm trying to work a lot of stations real quick, I use the headset and I put it in Vox mode, voice operated mode, and that's way better. So I just use Vox mode, and then I'm over here by the computer and doing the logging and stuff. R-A-R-S-W-4-E-W,
coming in.
4, repeater, Raleigh.
So the reason why...
4-E-W, 6, 4, Raleigh, hit 7:44 p.m.
The reason why I'm listening here on 15 meters is, you don't see much on the scope, is I got a hunch the skip's going to go long. I was talking to somebody in Texas and somebody in Pennsylvania, but to get the guy in Pennsylvania, I had to bounce my signal off of Texas. I don't know how that works, but because it's not a solid object. But for some reason, I was able to talk to him. When I turned my antenna, the beam antenna, north, I wasn't able to hear Pennsylvania at all. I had to turn it back towards the southwest. Strangest thing. So yeah, what is that? We call it backscatter. So that's what it is. And sometimes when I have this backscatter action like that, and it was real strong into Texas, usually there's another hop. And sometimes the second hop can be South Pacific, Australia, whatever. So I'm waiting for to see something come in. Maybe even Japan. I'm seeing people doing DX spots on Japan up here on 10 meters. I don't see anything on. Sometimes, like, the scope's not going to see everything. Real weak signals, they won't show up on the scope. Sometimes you actually gotta, like, listen. You can't just be what they call a scope head. You actually have to turn the dial and see if you hear something. But yeah, I like chasing DX. It's called distance DX. It's I like, stations outside of the United States, right? And I got a hunch I should be able to get something right here on 15 meters. I might point south. I'm going to turn the beam south, I think. And I'm going to see if I can get somebody maybe over in South America or whatnot. So, or the Caribbean. Well, probably not the Caribbean, but maybe South America. But let's give a listen here. And see if I get anything. 20 meters is this band here. This is the power band. Everybody's running a lot of power here. I do too, but...
Thank you very much for the call. Victor Papa 8 to Lima Papa 3 and she wants it.
Whiskey 2, that's typically the numbers in the call. You can usually tell what country they're at. The number used to tell you what part of the United States, but now that's anybody can get any call sign now. If it's issued, it shows you got a number that's designated for your area, but people get what's called a vanity call, and they'll get whatever call sign they want out of the area. So, but yeah. Who's interested?
Number 33 and thanks for the nice audio report. Whiskey 2 Radio Delta Bravo, Victor Papa 8 to Lima Papa 73. Bye-bye.
Let's see what Victor Papa 8 is. I forget. It's
Whiskey America 2. Whiskey America 2 again.
Victor Papa 8. Oh no, that's the Falkland Islands. What am I thinking? That's pretty good distance. So Falkland Islands, it's pretty good distance here. I'm gonna see if I can pick him up. See if I can work him. So I worked this guy a few times here, a number of times actually. So yeah, I had his call wrong. As soon as I corrected it, and I'll do a spot. And to the cluster so everybody else knows. I made a big mistake. I keyed up with the amp on. I turned the amp on, but I had this set for 15 meters. See, I was on 15 meters before, and here we're on 20. So when I keyed up and called, this thing started alerting. It was all messed up. So I unkeyed, and that's where I realized I messed up, because you can really do damage to your amplifier if it's not tuned correctly. So I tuned it back for 20, but I didn't even take it off of standby because he was able to hear me with just 90 watts. So yeah, he's got a great signal from the Falkland Islands. That's pretty far away. Google Earth, and it'll show me where he's at. So he's way down here, almost down by South Africa. So this is where they stop, like when you go into Antarctica. See that? That's down the bottom of South America. Look at that. Told you I could get some distance today. Look at that. So he is down here, and I am up here. Look at that. That's pretty doggone. That's a pretty good old haul. So, yeah. I bet you if there was somebody in Antarctica out there, I would be able to talk to them. I've talked to people on the station down there in Antarctica. There's a few stations down there, and I guess they got nothing else to do, so they got on the ham radio. So, yeah, let's see what else we find here. But that's great. That's interesting that they're on 20 meters, not on 15. So, let's see what else is on 20. So, I was right. There's Japan coming in on 15 meters. He's down here. So, yeah, 21,318. 21,318. Not hearing them. So it tells me to go to 331 degrees on the logging program. If I go there, it's going to lose this repeater because the VHF antenna is on the same tower. So as I turn this See how it's losing the VHF.
All right, very good, Larry. That
I can still hear it though.
like a win to me. $11.29.
Alright, here we go. Let's see. Power it up. There's my 2-meter repeater. Let's go down to HF. I was pressed the wrong one. Okay, so this is the band down. I'm gonna go down to let's go to 10 meters. 10 meters, 28 megahertz. Hit the tune button. Let's tune this antenna so I can hear something. As I tune the antenna, the thing screws out. It was down all the way. I get a little bit of noise from the house. Let me pull the car up a little bit. It's a shame I got noise in the house because it really messes up the other radio. I gotta find out where that noise is coming from.
Motion detection recording. Over 10 and event detection recording. 6 occurred.
It's locked. There's a little lock down there.
Will now start.
You hit this button down here, unlocks it. When I say lock, it locks the VFO so you don't bump it. Like if you're talking to somebody and you messing with stuff, you don't want to bump the VFO. It happens sometimes and you forget what frequency you're on.
GPS connected.
So sometimes I lock this VFO down. X-ray Echo, that's Mexico. Most people around the world on ham radio speak English, so we've got a big advantage there if you speak English. Even the people in Mexico speak English. If I call him, we'll probably come back in English. Well, let's see, I'm trying to squelch down here. Not too much activity here. Hey, let's see what's on CB. I can go. See, I might have that band set. Yeah, this CB band right there. 27 megahertz. It's like channel 38 right there. Bands are pretty quiet there. So that's what's cool about ham radio. So if there's no conditions up there in 10 meters, 11 meters, you know, so I can just keep going down. I can go down to 15 meters. Let's see if anything on 15. A lot of people don't use this band anymore. Let's see what's on 15. Ham radio isn't nearly as popular as it used to be. It used to be a lot of people on here all the time. Somebody. It's always the case, man. I'm doing a video. There won't be anybody out there. Alright, let's go down to 20 meters. So I go 14,350 down to 14.
JP4 Delta something Victor. I missed one digit there.
20 meters is like always open. There's always going to be somebody here on 20 meters.
November 1, Echo Papa X-ray.
They got this thing called Parks in the Air. People go to these state parks and they try to work stations. So there's a lot of that activity going on.
In there. With the KB4 station.
Gives people practice for contesting and stuff. I might give it a try. I could just drive this thing into a park, get the number of the park, and operate. I mean, I could operate in a park anyway, but when you do it as a Parks on the Air, you get a lot of people that call you.
we've got you a good 5-9 also into part 4425. Thank you for hanging with us this afternoon.
I get the speaker up there now.
Yours, this is KG5YMI. November 5, Mike, give you a call.
See how many people are calling them?
Hey, this is Delta 9 station. This is Delta 9.
Lima, Florida, Sugar, number 5, good luck.
We use a lot of phonetics. He's not using good luck, that's just cute. But we use a lot of phonetics so because you can get the call sign. You don't know if he's saying N as in, November or M as in Mary, So we use a lot of phonetics.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure meeting you on the airwave 20 minutes this afternoon. Looking forward to working your station either on some other band and some other mode anytime soon. Feel free call in. Good luck to you. Good day. Excellent entries. Thanks again.
He sounds like he's in the Caribbean. All right, so then 40 meters is like a rag tube band. A lot of people like locally that know each other go down here on 40 meters. Like, you got 2 meters and 70 centimeters with the repeaters, and you talk to all your friends like you would on CB. Well, down here on 40 meters and 75 meters, 40 meters being 7 megahertz band, 75 is like 3.7 megahertz. You'll get a lot of people there chatting with their buddies. Good old boy networks. Got a pretty good signal, S9. So the lower the frequency, the shorter the jump. We use something called skip, right? The signal bounces off the ionosphere and back down. So when you're on like 7 megahertz, that bounce is going to be a lot shorter distance than it is up on like 14 megahertz. So from here, North Carolina, my first hop might be, I don't know, it might be Texas, right? Might be Texas for my first hop. But then on 7 megahertz, my first hop might be, I don't know, Tennessee. So it's a lot closer. And it changes at night. It spreads out. So 10 meters, and then you get double jumps, right? You double hops, but you lose signal each time you hop. So 10 meters, the hop will be a lot further. So a lot of people like using the 10 meter band, which is the 28 megahertz. These are just things that you pick up as you go along with ham radio. See how these are all lit up? This is what I like about this radio. At night, I can see. I don't really have to like read anything. I just know where everything. Oh, third button over. These are the modes. This is the bands. This is the lock. Bigger buttons going around the side. That's what I like about this Yaesu. The ICOM 7000 does that too. Thing is, with the ICOM, if I wanted to use one of these screwdriver antennas, I have to have a separate device. It's not integrated to the radio. It's a shame. Used to be an awful lot of mobile operation back in the day. There's a lot less now. Let's go to 17 meters. 17 meters, 18 megahertz. Let's see who's on here. That antenna's gonna screw down. So when I'm on these lower bands, 7 megahertz, that antenna is really long. It's only a difference of about maybe 8 inches, but it's got to screw down. It takes a minute. It's got like a coil in there, right? So it moves the taps. Man, many people out here today. Let's go back to 10. Let's go to 10.
Yeah, yourself. Thank you very much for the contact this afternoon. 73.
Thing called the IP. It cuts a lot of the noise down, so I'm going to turn that on. And then I like moving this menu bar so that tune is here, so I can have it ready to go.